Greetings, Red Wolf Nation, and welcome to Inside IU East Sports. I'm Kyle Wright with the IU East Athletic Department, keeping the host chair warm this evening, and we're so grateful that you've joined us. Leading off today's show, it's IU East's newest men's basketball All-American, Bishop Smith, a junior who just completed his junior year with the Red Wolves. So, Bishop, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, before we talk about your year this past year, let's go all the way back to your earliest days in basketball. How did you get started in basketball? What are your earliest memories of the sport?
I started playing basketball in a church league, and I'd say my dad kind of pushed me towards it, and he was my first coach for several years, so that's kind of what got me started in basketball, kind of just a family thing.
How old or how young were you at that time?
I think my first league I started playing at 4, but I don't think I got too competitive probably until about 9 or 10 years old.
Gotcha. So a long time in growing up with the ball, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
And why did you stick with basketball? What was it about that particular game that you thought this is going to be my sport?
I'd say basketball is the sport that I had the most fun playing growing up. I played baseball and football and several other sports, but I think it was just the most competitive for me, and I just had a lot of fun playing it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any particular favorite players growing up, either pro or possibly even college players you admired?
Growing up, I like Chris Paul, probably the best, but now that I'm a little older, I've kind of became a big Damian Lillard fan over the last few years.
So good choices on both. So, and pre-IU East, you played at Warren Central. Any favorite basketball memories or accomplishments before we get into your accomplishments at IU East?
Yeah, I'd say beating Carmel on my senior night in high school was a big deal. Their coach actually coached at Warren, Coach Hetty, so it was a big win for us, and student section rushed the court, so that was pretty awesome.
Okay, we're glad you made it out in one piece to be able to play for us here. So that leads us to kind of your college choice. So how did you first hear of IU East? As you mentioned, you played at Warren Central, which is in Indianapolis. Has been actually a really good pipeline for IU East in general, but how did you first hear about IU East?
I first heard of IU East. Coach Hester contacted me in the summer before my senior year, and they had seen me play a few times and just reached out. And then from there, we had a pretty good relationship with a lot of communication over that next year. And that was kind of my first coming with IU East.
And I'm sure you had options. Just in the final decision, just why did you choose IU East as your place for the next 4 years?
With IU East, I just got a family feel from the coaching staff and the players, and everybody just seemed really close off the court, and I didn't necessarily get that feeling everywhere else I visited, and that was important to me.
Okay. So you walked into a Final Four team, and then every year you've been here, IU East has gone to either the round of 8 or the round of 4 at Nationals. Your first 2 years came off the bench, hit a lot of big shots, and was a great scorer off the bench. Then this year, your junior year, you went from a great sixth man to an All-American. You made the All-America team for the first time. What things, I think one of the first tweets you tweeted after that announcement was all the hard work paid off or something along those lines. Mm-hmm. Just what were the things you worked especially hard on from your sophomore year to your junior year to be ready for that step?
A lot of the work I put in not only came on the court, but I watched a lot of film and worked a lot with Coach Rigby on just making the right reads and making the right plays off of certain actions and screens and just being able to see the game better and making it slow down for me a little bit, I think helped a lot going into this year.
Okay. And when could you kind of tell that work had paid off? Was it maybe even during summer workouts, or was there maybe an early season game where you're like, all this work has paid off? Was there a moment where you kind of had that light bulb go on for you?
I think it was this summer. Every summer we play several games at a few different locations, and we were at Indiana Wesleyan, and we played some high-level teams there over the summer, and I think that just gave me a chance to kind of play and have to run the show a little bit with Jalen out over the summer, so I think that was just kind of a good clicking point for me.
And I know I asked you this right after you got the All-America award, but I want our viewers to know your answer too. Just what do you hope the opposing coaches saw in your game? Because the coaches do all the voting for All-Conference and All-Americans. So what do you hope they saw that led them to vote for you for these awards?
I just hope the coaches saw the growth and maturity I had over the last year or so, and also just my competitive nature and my will to win. I really like winning. which is kind of obvious. Nobody likes to lose, but it's pretty important to me, and I think that kind of drives me.
And that actually led into the next topic I wanted to talk about. We're actually going to see some of these here. You are very comfortable taking the big shot. Just this year alone, you had three, in 10% of IU East games, so 3 games you had either a game-tying or game-winning shot in the last minute. Just where did this willingness to take the big shot come from?
Honestly, it comes directly from my coaches and teammates. I think they have a lot of confidence in me, and they kind of instill that in me, and I think they expect me to step up and make plays when that time comes, and just having that confidence from them kind of carries over for me.
Okay. The first and only game-winning shot I ever hit was in 8th grade. What's the earliest you remember hitting some sort of game-winning shot?
I hit one in high school versus Brownsburg. I'm not sure though. I don't know how many game-winning shots I've actually made in my playing career. I'd say I've had a few big go-ahead buckets here. I remember Davenport. I believe that was my freshman year, and they're a pretty good team. They're actually, I believe, D2 now. Mm-hmm. And I hit a go-ahead 3 on them within the last few minutes of the game, and that one kind of sinks in as a big one here at IU East.
That actually led into the biggest shot, maybe, if you had to pick one out of the many you've hit. Yeah,
the biggest shot, I would have to say was this year in the round of 16, in the Sweet 16, we played Bethel, mm-hmm. and I actually wasn't having a great game, but I just kept playing, and then finally my moment came at the end, and I got a breakaway layup to kind of seal the victory for us.
I think it should be said it was a layup, but we watched Duke win 2 games in the national tournament at that level because the other team missed game-winning layups. So yes. It's easier said than done with the clock running down, and that was left-handed too, if I remember right. So
yes, sir.
Executing when the time comes is a big thing. Let me flip that question. There's a famous Michael Jordan commercial. It's something to the effect of, I've had 10,000 turnovers, I've missed 5,000 shots, I've missed 30 game winners. Is there a big miss shot somewhere along the line that really drove you to reach the level you're at?
Yeah, last year in the Final Four, we played Indiana Wesleyan, which has kind of become a good rival of ours over the last few years. And I believe there's about 14 seconds on the clock, and I had made a 3 before to tie the game up. And they came, or no, actually to put us down 1, and they came back down and made a couple free throws. We were down 3 again, and I came back down, had another good look at the rim, and I missed the shot, and we ended up losing that game. And so that shot has stuck with me over the last year or so, and just kind of drove me to get better in the off season, and something that always sticks in the back of my mind.
Right, I think that Jordan commercial ends with, and that's why I succeed, so kind of a similar note there. Mm-hmm. So obviously a lot of big shots, a lot of big wins. If you had to pick maybe one big win or one accomplishment that's your favorite from your time at IU East so far, because you've got another year to go, but what's your favorite accomplishment on the court so far?
I'd say my favorite accomplishment on the court would be when we won the conference championship at Southeast. I think that was kind of a big turning point for our program, seeing as IU Southeast is a rival of ours, and they're a high-level competition team that we see every year. And I believe that was one of our first times ever winning on their court, so that was a big deal for not only me and the program.
But that was your freshman year, and you're right, it was the first win there ever for the IU East program. Off-the-court memories, any particular off-the-court memories from your time in the basketball program that stand out?
Off-the-court memories, I'd say one of my favorite trips with the team at least would be Washington, D.C. every year. Well, not every year, but we've went there a few times. And I really enjoy that city and just spending time with the team and getting to see different monuments. And it kind of gives us a chance to learn about stuff other than basketball while we're together.
Right. You actually answered my next question. I was going to say, because your team gets to travel a lot with between national tournaments and such, in addition to Washington, D.C., is there maybe a second favorite destination for your team's travels?
I really liked Branson, Missouri. I was kind of sad to see it leave Missouri and head to South Dakota, but it was a lot to see there, a lot of great sightseeing and good weather, and there was a lot for us to do while we were at the national tournament, so I'd say that was probably one of my favorite places.
I enjoyed it, and I ate a lot of food there
Oh,
as well.
yeah.
So, let's turn to academics. Your GPA is outstanding. Talk about your major and your career plans once you're done here at IU East.
Well, right now I'm studying business administration, and I have a minor in criminal justice. I haven't exactly decided what I want to do after school, but I'm hoping to be able to find maybe a grad assistant job at another school and maybe pursue a coaching career.
Gotcha. Any particular favorite classes in the almost 3 years that you've been here?
Favorite class? I personally enjoyed speech class a lot. I like to listen to people talk and not only get a feel for what they have going on in their lives, but just kind of what they're interested in, and I like learning about other people.
And then, as we mentioned, you've got 1 year to go, so heading into your senior year. Obviously made a big leap last year to this year. What things are you planning to work on? I guess we don't want to give away any secrets to people who might be guarding you, but without doing that, things that you're working on to be ready for your senior year.
Headed into senior year, right now I'm working a lot on scoring inside the three-point line, whether it's jumpers, floaters, just different kind of finishes around the rim, and also just continuing to see the reads earlier and make the right plays for my teammates when they come.
Okay. All right, well, we certainly look forward to seeing you in action for your senior year. Should be a great year.
Thank you.
All right, so Bishop Smith, the latest IU East men's basketball All-American, joining us here on Inside IU East Sports. We'll be back right after this.